Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. You just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
And away we go. Saturday edition of Purple Picks. Welcome in. It's Judd. It's Declan. Phil, unfortunately, lost his voice, and so he is resting up for Sunday night because, of course, immediately following the Vikings and Colts game, as we always do, we will have Vent Line, and we need Mackie at 100% there. So he is not joining us on today's show. However, we do have his picks. Before we start, and Declan's going to run the ship. He has all of the data, all of the important information. Which way am I pointing? Am I
there you
pointing
go.
at you
I know.
right now?
It's because
because I think I see you on that side, but I don't.
But you're on this side.
It's this side. It's a lot for the brain to comprehend, and on a Saturday after a big Friday night, I'm not prepared for that. Anyway, before we start, I do want to give a quick shout out to the exclusive personal injury law firm of our show, and of course, it is Nicolay Law. Nicolay Law knows that when you or a loved one gets injured, ordinary life can come to a stop and things get complicated. During that time, the insurance companies are going to pressure you. They don't care if you get better. They don't care if your bills are piling up, and they don't care that you may not be able to work. But Nicolay Law does. They've seen every play the insurance companies have, and they'll make sure you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay. Start your path to winning at NicolayLaw.com. That's NICOLET law.com, or give them a call 1-855-NICOLAY. And not this Sunday, but next, Declan, throw it up there. That's right.
Nice.
The official sports bar, Sports Dad, the Park Tavern right here in my neck of the woods in St. Louis Park. We will be having a watch party that will then turn into a post-game vent line for the Minnesota-Jacksonville game. I can't say the names because it's an event, and if I say the names, Roger Goodell will come and slap my hand. Sorry, Roger.
so dumb.
I know. Minnesota, purple team. Who am I talking about? The baseball team, the NBA team? I don't know. Oh, wait, they're playing Jacksonville. They don't have any team except for a football team because Jacksonville stinks. Nonetheless, Sunday, November 10th, the festivities for our watch party going to start about an hour before kickoff at 11. And then, of course, going through the game, it says 4:30, but we will be there as long as we have to be, given what goes on with the game. Also, please bring a non-perishable food item to benefit Steps Food Shelf in SLP as well. So that would be much appreciated. But join us for a vent line party. And with that, Declan, I turn it over to, I think I'm going to do this right. I turn it over to you.
All right. So Purple Picks here. We're gonna give what we're most confident, what we're most nervous about. We'll ask if anyone's playing for their jobs. We'll also have some playoff odds, and then we will pick the game straight up, and we will pick against the spread. So we'll have statistics on that in a little bit. But let's start off with the first one, Judd. Vikings, Colts, Sunday Night Football. What are you the most confident in?
I'm the most confident in, I think the Vikings offense is geared up for a successful day. You know, it's been a little dicey of late. Way too many penalties. Like they have. I will say this: the Vikings have, and they've lost 2 consecutive games. I consider the Rams loss to be a bad loss. I don't think the Detroit loss was like this disastrous. You got blown out and now you're dead. It was actually a close game. But the offense has not been firing on all cylinders, to use a cliche. Well, it was interesting in his Thursday media accessibility. Justin Jefferson came out and said that O'Connell has, quote, kind of dialed it down for us, meaning simplified things. Since week 5, the Vikings are 23rd in offensive efficiency, and their 6.3 penalties per game are second most in the league. So I think in doing this, it's going to help the offense get back on track a little bit. TJ Hawkinson is back. Like, you have weapons. You've got a lot of them. I think Cam Robinson probably starts at left tackle, but the protection, obviously, of Darnold becomes important. But defensively, just to paint the picture here, Declan, the Colts are 28th in total defense. They're 24th against the pass. They're 30th against the run, and they're actually not that bad. They're 13th in scoring 21.5 points per game. But I think at home, Sunday night game, Colts are good. Colts aren't great. I think the Vikings offense gets itself back on track and looks a little bit more formidable than it has in the past couple of weeks, certainly against the Rams.
You hinted at it a little bit, but I am most confident in Aaron Jones running up and down the field this week against the Colts. So to Judd's point, they have given up 1,200 yards. That's 30th in the NFL on the ground, 4.5 yards per carry. They've given up 7 rushing touchdowns. To Judd's point, they're 28th in yards given up, but they're actually 13th in points.
Right, they're not bad in points.
Taking a look at the red zone, I actually thought this would still be higher. The Colts defense in the red zone is actually only 16th. You'd figure when you see a discrepancy like yards to points that the red zone defense was probably better, right? I mean, if you're marching down the field but you're not getting 6 as enough as you should be, they're basically average in the red zone. The Colts defense, that is. Regardless, I think what Aaron Jones has been able to bring this offense has been great. He's been catching passes too, which is awesome. I'm very excited for TJ Hawkinson to come back. I think this Vikings offense is going to have a new layer to it with Hawk coming back with Jefferson and Addison. But everything, that does not mean, KOC, you abandon what you've been doing, which this season it's been establishing the run early with Aaron Jones. Don't get cute. Don't get cute.
I love it. You sound like me.
So Aaron Jones, I am most confident in him running up and down the field, setting the tone on the offense. Then everything else, all those other guys, those are the complementary pieces. It starts with Aaron Jones. That's what I'm most confident in.
Love it.
All right, so what makes you the most nervous on behalf of the Vikings, Judd?
This is an overall thing now because it's going to be 3 consecutive games. Blake Cashman.
Yeah.
And I know we've joked because it's like he left the lineup and it's like, my God, they lost Dick Butkus in his prime. But, it's a joke. It was sort of a joke, but it's a compliment. He clearly was key here. And O'Connell, I think it was right after the Rams loss, he did a Friday video conference call, alluded to the fact that he expected at the time that Cashman would return. And I don't know, as Doogie said, if there was a setback. I mean, turf toe is not to be trifled with, and you do not want to rush a guy back. Turf toe sounds simple, but it's actually a real problem. But, the issues with the Vikings defense being exploited over the middle really began with Cashman out. And he also is a whirling dervish in the run game. I mean, he's all over the place. Joe Flacco has a chance to exploit that. Now, I would hope that Brian Flores has come up with some answers here. He had another long break to do so. So this is not saying it's a death knell. But it makes me a little bit nervous, not just for this game, but clearly what Cashman doing was key to the success. So that is where I stand. The Blake Cashman absence, which I think is going to continue on Sunday, makes me nervous.
So I told you that I'm very confident in Aaron Jones running up and down the field for the Vikings and setting the tone in offense. Judd took the defense there, which is obviously a worrisome lately for the Vikings, and I want to see a response. But I'm actually most nervous about Jonathan Taylor doing the same thing that Aaron Jones can do for the Colts offense, that is. So Jonathan Taylor having still a pretty solid year. He's actually averaging nearly 5 yards per carry. He's done a pretty good job, obviously, helping that offense still be successful with a disaster in Anthony Richardson at the rookie quarterback position. He's been able to catch some passes this year, 25 passes, so he's been getting a little bit more receptions than we're used to. Yes, Joe Flacco is a better QB than Anthony Richardson, but everything in that Colts offense is going to start with Jonathan Taylor. As cliche and lame as it is, the running game is very important to set up the pass. And if they stop Jonathan Taylor and they force Joe Flacco to have to throw 45 times, I still like the Vikings' defensive chances to win the game, put themselves in position to at least win the game. But what I'm most nervous about is if they can't stop Jonathan Taylor, then I think it's going to be basically a back and forth, maybe shootout type game. And I don't know if the Vikings defense, if they're going to be able to stop both those things. Stop Jonathan Taylor, and then I think you're going to be in a good spot to win the game. That's where I'm at.
It's weird, too, because the Vikings will come into this game in the entire league ranked 3rd in run defense. They're giving up an average of 83.9 yards per game. But to my point, I guess, Cashman being out feels like it has weakened that. And Taylor can also catch the ball.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see, Joe Flacco is going to use a guy like that on short passes. The other thing that's interesting about the Colts offensively is their top two of their top receivers, Michael Pittman and Josh Downs, sat out practice on Wednesday with back and toe problems respectively, but then practiced in full on Thursday. And so I'm curious if that was more maintenance or if there's something, or if they're trying to play through these things. So if both of those guys are hobbled, it's going to help the Vikings cause. But yeah, I just think a lot of this revolves around what have you sort of fixed? Have you plugged some of the leaks since the Rams game? So
is anyone playing or coaching for their job? Now we've used the Ed Ingram one a lot.
Ingram is, because it feels like he is every week, and now we're back to that. So I think the plan was with before the Cam Robinson trade, I think they were going to move Brandel, who by the way did not play well against the Rams, but they were going to move Brandel to left tackle and reinsert Reisner at left guard. But now my expectation, they didn't acquire Robinson to sit him. So Brandel's going to stay at left guard here for at least the long term. So Ingram probably is again. But beyond that, like, is there anybody? The only thing I'll say is this. I'll throw you a curveball. I'll throw you a potential curveball.
I got one too.
There is a chance that before Tuesday, this team makes a trade for a cornerback or interior defensive line help, or because it's a 3-4 defensive line help. There is a case that some of the guys that are rotational or heck cornerbacks, I don't know if it's Shaq Griffin or whom, is playing for their job if the Vikings decide that they're going to make a trade and acquire what they consider to be an upgrade, Declan.
So I can see that. I can also see, is Pat Jones playing for his job? Is this an opportunity for Dallas Turner to maybe, if Pat Jones continue? I mean, he was great the first 2 games, but he's kind of just been a jag since. Is this another one that we could use for Dallas Turner to maybe get some snaps, have some unexpected plays drawn up for him, maybe get after the quarterback a little bit, get his feet wet, at least get him out there. I mean, God, just getting him out there, I think will help. So
yeah,
it's another one.
Here's the interesting thing about this whole conversation too, and I mean, Brian Flores is not going to discuss this, so we just don't know, but we can certainly guess and recklessly speculate. Are they not getting Dallas Turner on the field because of depth chart things, plethora of guys, right, or do they just not trust him? And if they trust Pat Jones, even if he doesn't get home, which clearly he's not been of late, he got off to a great start, which you just said, but do they trust Pat Jones more just to do the right thing? Like, that's what we don't know. We don't know if the Turner thing is, dude, we really like you, but we just can't find a place. But you broach a very interesting discussion because the statistics would say that Pat Jones has definitely dropped off, which none of us should be shocked by.
No.
But I don't know. I can't figure out, do they not trust Turner or do they just think they can't play him because they have guys in front of him that they just like a lot more?
Yeah. It'll be fun to watch. Maybe Dallas Turner gets some snaps this week. I don't know. They've had an extra couple days off to look at things, review things. I'm very curious how it looks on Sunday Night Football.
I could definitely see that. That's a good one. Really good one.
So we'll get to some playoff odds. We'll also pick the game. We'll get in some trends that are going into this game. But shout out to Pepsi. So if you've been at US Bank Stadium this season, you probably have seen those Pepsi cups. It's got Justin Jefferson's glorious mug out. Mackey's probably, I think he has a whole 3 things of tea just steeping in there, just trying to get his voice right for vent line.
You sure it's tea? It's a Saturday.
That's true.
Tea with a little something else?
My broadcast announcer teacher at St. Cloud State said, if you are dealing with a throat issue, tea, honey is a big one, and only slightly, just the smallest a bit of bourbon.
Yeah,
just
tell college kids that. Tell college kids. Yeah, you should tell college kids. Yeah, don't. Here's the thing.
Tiniest bit.
Yeah, it's a tiny bit. But
so I wouldn't put bourbon in that cup, but you can fill up the Justin Jefferson souvenir cup with whatever you want. It's inside US Bank Stadium right now. It's also inside the local Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh stores. I was in Iowa a few weeks ago. I saw the Hy-Vee Fresh. Love me a Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh
Hy-Vee's
situation.
all over there. They're huge in Iowa, Dex.
There's a QR code on the cup where you can enter to win Victor's Ride. Last year, there was a big winner here on the YouTube channel. You can show us your cups, too, at Phil Mackey, at Judd Zolgad, at Dex's tweets. And they're also giving away a solo pizza stove plus Vikings autographed merch as well. So shout out to Pepsi. Go get that cup, scan the QR code, enter to win. Also, you can win a Roku TV by just downloading the Score North app. There's a listener rewards tab. You can download that, enter to win yourself a glorious TV. Have it ready maybe for you by the Super Bowl for Super Bowl Sunday. Shout out to Roku TV for that giveaway. We appreciate them sponsoring Purple Daily and this episode of Purple Picks. So, playoff odds. Vikings are now at 77% chance to make the playoffs. That's down from 95 last week. So an 18% swing after back-to-back NFC losses.
Yeah.
So it's still a good chance, 77%. They're at 18% chance to win the division. And they're at 5% chance to win the Super Bowl. By the way, the Vikings had a 14% chance to win the Super Bowl as of a week ago. It's down to 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, you lose back-to-back games. Yeah, it's going to impact that in a major way. Clearly did.
Here's what the Sharps are saying about this game. So this is from Action Network. Sam Darnold is 5-11 straight up in games played at 3 p.m. or later in his career, including just 1-3 when his team is the favorite. The Vikings started the season 5-0 straight up and have now dropped 2 straight. Since 1990, just 9 teams have started 5-0 and then lost 2 straight. 6 of those 9 still went on to make the playoffs. The last to miss, can you guess?
Yeah, it's Vikings. Yeah,
The 2016 Vikings.
yeah, I was there for it. So were you.
So was I. We were both there for that. That was my first year covering games.
Used to sit by me.
That was my first year covering games too. Joe Flacco's completion percentage is over 21 percentage points higher than Anthony Richardson this season. One thing Flacco and Richardson have in common, though, is they are chucking it down the field. In Joe Flacco's last 7 starts for both the Colts and the Browns, he is 6-1 against the spread, and this is slated to be the biggest line as an underdog since September of 22 for the Jets when he was a starter. However, as an underdog of 5 points or more, Joe Flacco is just 4-24 straight up in his career and 1-17 dating back to 2013. So when the spread is 5.5, which I'll have some notes on the spread here in just a minute, Flacco's terrible. Or at least his teams don't win, I should say. His teams don't win when he starts.
Right.
One more note here from the Sharps. The Colts had played 17 one-score games under Shane Steichen. Indy is 10-7 straight up and 13-4, though, against the spread in those close games. So a lot of different little conflicting things from straight up to the spread, working for and against the Colts. Here's what the trends are saying. The betting percentage is saying. Right now, 71% of the bets are on the Vikings, and 82% of the money is on the Vikings. So when Anthony Richardson was supposed to play, this was a 7.5-point spread for the Vikings to be favorites in. That dropped to 5.5 after the news on, I believe, Tuesday of this week when Flacco was going to start. I saw on Friday that this line had shifted to 3.5.
Wow.
Which is a 4-point swing in the matter of 5 days from a quarterback change.
Yeah.
However, now it is back up to 5.5. I have no idea how the sausage
The money
is made
is
here.
just going nuts.
Okay.
It's going crazy.
It's going in crazy different
every
directions.
which way.
So here's the spread that we will pick for this game.
Okay.
5.5-point spread. The Vikings are favorites. So Judd, straight up. By the way, you are 4-3. All 3 of us are 4-3 when picking straight up. This season.
5.5. Oh.
Versus the spread this season,
Yeah.
me and you are 5-2.
Yeah.
Phil is 4-3. On this last year, Dex, I won the spread straight up 11-6, but Mackie won when picking against the spread. He went 8-7-2. A little bit of a draw there a couple times against the spread. So we'll start with you, Judley. Straight up, do the Vikings win this game, and do they cover the 5.5?
Straight up, I'm going to pick the Vikings to win. So
Okay.
I think they get right. There's pressure on them to win this game too. Now it's been flexed but yes, I think the Vikings come back and win this game. We're going with 5.5. You said
5.5.
Oh,
It's that's a tough one, right?
that's a lot of points. I'll go Colts. I'll go. The Vikings will not cover the spread. But I mean, a touchdown's a touchdown too. So that's not like it's not like the Vikings won by 7. I'm astounded. That's a very difficult number to deal with. But I feel like given sort of the conflicting nature of this game between these two teams and the fact the Colts aren't They're not a bad team.
Oh, no, no.
They have a young quarterback who's not very good, who they just benched for a guy who can come in and sort of handle things a little bit better. But yeah, so Vikings win straight up. They do not cover the spread.
Okay. So Mac, actually, I'll give mine here first. I have the Vikings winning this game. I've been very confident in that going into this week.
Yeah, you're more confident than I am, but I am not. Again, I'm not scared of this game.
I just
bring it on.
And I don't know if this is just I'm trying to like push back against the PTSD, but like the back-to-back losses, the looming 2016 nervous energy vibes, like I'm just trying to will this. Now, ironically, because we were both there for this game in 2016 when the season was on the line. And the Colts came here with Andrew Luck, who I believe just came off the injured list, and they kicked the crap out of the Vikings. That was when AP tried to come back and caused a mutiny in the locker room, too. Boone has told that story. It's one of the probably the biggest lopsided ass kickings I've ever seen from a football game. I've only been to football games really over the last 6-7 years, but that was brutal. But I have the Vikings winning this game, and I have the Vikings covering. If I'm going to be confident in the Vikings winning, I'm also going to be confident that they can cover this spread. So I have the Vikings winning straight up, and I have the Vikings covering the spread. For those wondering, too, with Mackey, Phil is picking also the Vikings to win this game straight up, but he has the Colts, like Judd, covering the 5.5.
Yeah, I think if you brought it down to 3, I would go Vikings to cover as well. But to 5, that's a really difficult number to deal with. It is a difficult one. I would not bet this game.
You would just avoid it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'd bet this game. Unless I lost my shorts on Sunday afternoon, in which case I'd put everything. I'd put my house on this game to make it all back.
Yes.
Because that's what you do.
That's exactly what you do. Especially when you lose your shorts. I like that term.
Lose your shorts. Yep. Old school term. So, yeah, I think that this is one where, the Colts, it's funny. It's going to go 3 consecutive AFC South teams, right? It's going to go the Colts, the Jaguars, the Titans. And I do think that the Jaguars and Titans, even on the road, I'll be disappointed if the Vikings don't win. This one to me though is I got to see a lot here. Like I think this is one of the most pivotal games of the season as far as how do you now rebound. And what makes this good though is because the expectations coming into the season were so low, like I'm not hung up on, well, if they don't win this game, it's all the season's. I mean, I don't even know what to expect at this point. It's been sort of fun, but I do think that it's going to give us a glimpse into some very important coaching moves by O'Connell, especially, which are going to become even more important come next year. Because, Dex, you're going to lose games. Like you are going to lose. This league is weird. You're going to lose games. But I think the most important question is, okay, how do you come back from those defeats? And can you stop the losses? See, I said the most interesting question. I am not asking you to answer my question. I'm saying the most interesting question is, how do you then rebound from said defeats to come back and stop them?
I like
that's the key. That's the technique. That's all I got for you.
Hit the like button, subscribe button here on Purple Daily. We'll have a late night vent line. Obviously, we won't have, I believe, a Sunday morning episode. So your Purple Daily fix for Sunday will come most likely late night. As we have another Red Zone Sunday, and Judd's locked in for a Red Zone Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I am, but here's my problem.
Got some great games this week at noon.
No, I know. But I hate night game. I don't like night games because I'm never truly relaxed.
Oh, really?
Because, well, I should say this. If the Vikings were on the road, it's great. But because I have to go, I'm always when should I leave? When should I leave?
I understand.
Because I want to get there before the traffic gets bad. So do I stay till... Do I leave at 3:30? So I'll watch the zone, but there's nothing better than a day of the red zone, Scotty Hansen and me, with no other things that I have to think about.
I think you at least stay through the witching hour in the first slate of games.
Oh, right? God, yeah.
You're not going to pull our Chip Scott, a friend of Chip Scoggins, get there at 2 p.m.
But by then my mind is racing, right? It's like I got.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, but yes, the witching hour. Yeah, I'll make it through the noon games. I'm just saying I'm not nearly as relaxed. Okay. Plus, I think Dawn wants to go out to brunch.
Yep. I think we're doing brunch.
Although we blow that off a lot, too.
Yep.
She'll sleep in a lot, and so it'll be like, okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Speaking of sleeping in, we're going to be doing that. So appreciate you guys liking, subscribing to Purple Daily. Vikings Vent Line, going to be a blast. Hit me up, vikingsventline@gmail.com to appreciate everyone that has listened and supported the show. Can't wait for Sunday against the Colts.